But there we go. I think it's recording. Okay. So we'll get started. So, um, thank you all. I know this is for us, this is not a typical webinar that we do for reporting, but I know that for a lot of people that are involved in this grant, it might be the first time that you've been involved with CJC reporting system and SM Apply. So I just quickly want to go through some of our processes and kind of see what to expect, particularly within SM Apply. And so we're just going to talk about that today. Just want to note, this will be available, the recording will be available, and I will send out this deck, this slide deck as well with that recording. I do want to just make one note that the person who has, I don't have access to our YouTube channel directly, so I can't upload it. The person who does have access to that is at a training for the next 2 days, so it will probably not be available until this Wednesday. But you will see, you will get an email from me with this slide deck and a link to the recording either Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So just wanted to make note of that. For all of you that don't know me, I'm Rachel MacArthur. I'm staff here at CJC. I've been the point person for this grant since the beginning. And so some of you may be familiar with me, but for those of you that aren't, at the very end, I will provide my email. So if you do end up having issues in SM Applier with this reporting process, you can definitely reach out to me before the due date and all of that. So all right, let's get through this. So this is essentially what we're going to cover today is just an overview of what quarterly reporting is. It is something that we are required to do or to have all of our grantees do, just as kind of some of it is because we are required to have reporting, like actual legislative reports, and so we collect data. And then also the financial aspect is very important to us, just so that we can show where these funds are going and have record of that. And so for this particular grant program, there is the expenditure report, and then we did ask some program data questions. And I'm going to touch base on that, the actual process, but I also just want to say that we understand this grant is very new. And so we did ask these questions. If there isn't information that you all have with these data questions, that is okay. And so we'll kind of get into that a little bit. We recognize that these are programs, while some of them are established, some of them are getting off the ground. And so we understand if some of these data questions, the numbers aren't available or there isn't information to provide. So that's okay. The same goes with the expenditure reporting as well. So, but I just wanted to make sure that there is an understanding with the program data questions in particular. We get that you may or may not have them. And then we'll do any sort of questions and next steps for this particular process. So like I mentioned, it does include expenditure reporting and program data questions. This process must be submitted through SM Apply. This is how we track completion. We get notifications, and we're also able to pull reports pretty quickly from SM Apply. And so that's why we require it. The expense report itself is an Excel spreadsheet. It should look very similar to you all that worked on the grant in the initial stages with the budget projection sheet. It's a very similar document. So we try to make them look similar so that they're a little bit familiar. And then the data questions themselves are in SM Apply for y'all to be able to answer. We did delay the reporting. So typically with this, because the grant technically started in October 1st, we would have had reporting in January, but because of the grant agreement situation and getting grant agreements out and getting funds out, we delayed this. And so there is going to be 6 months worth of reporting for both the expenditure and the data. So it does cover from October to March 31st. So 2 quarters worth. You'll see, and I'll show you just an example coming up in the expense sheet. There is space for both quarters. And so if you have reporting for both quarters, put them in the appropriate spaces. And also, just a reminder, I know this sounds kind of obvious. You all can go back to the 1st of October for expenditures with this grant. So even though we're moving forward, even if the grant agreement was signed after that, or maybe there was a delay in the grant agreement being executed and funds went out later, you can go all the way back to that, which is why we kind of have that 6-month period. And then this reporting is due this month, April 25th by 5 p.m. Okay, so again, if you have issues with this process, I'm going to try to walk you through the SM apply process. If you have issues with it, reach out, preferably before the 25th, so that we can get you all some help. So this is what the expense sheet should look like. These were emailed to the primary contact for the grant. And so this is the people that have been essentially the point person for the grant from the beginning. And so for us as staff, we email that primary contact with most things, just because we are not able to track within counties where that information needs to go. And so if this is an instance where you're looking for this because you haven't received it and are in charge of submitting this stuff, your primary contact that was identified in the application does have this. Okay, these went out on the 1st. So the award items have been pre-filled. And then so it's just simply putting how much has been spent on each line for each quarter for Q1 and Q2. And then everything will update on the bottom. And then there is space, which we'll get to, for you all to upload this attachment into SM Apply. It is one of the tasks that you do have to complete. If you don't have expenditures, just put in a 0 and upload it. And so even if there isn't anything to report, that's okay. You will have an opportunity next quarter to report expenditures, and then also again in October of this year. So there are 2 more reporting requirements from you all, but we do need you to complete this task in SM Apply just so that we can see that you submitted quarterly reporting. Okay, so even if there's zeros and there's nothing to report, that's okay. This is an expected and pretty common thing with newer grants, but you still need to attach it into SM Apply and actually complete that task. So that's what this looks like. And then when you go into SM Apply, it's a very similar process as though, and I apologize, this picture for some reason came out very blurry, at least on my end, so I apologize. But essentially, you log into SM Apply the same way you did the application. You'll see that you have your applications that are open, that existing, and then you just hit start. You will be sent to Q1 and Q2 reporting. We kind of move you through stages as we have different requirements for you all to submit an SM Apply. So just simply hit start on this front page, and you'll be sent to a page that looks very much like this. You should have 2 open tasks, which is Q1 and Q2 expense reporting, and then questions. So those are the 2 things that you should be identified as your tasks. If you get to this page and it looks different, please reach out because you won't be able to complete the tasks that we need you to do. For some reason, you've been put in a different stage, which is on our end to fix. So please reach out. So you should have 2 tasks that are open and ready for you all to complete. So when you click on the expense tracking sheet, if you look at the little arrows that I put there, you will get, when you open it up and you start it, you will get kind of a half-filled circle. That means you have started the task, and then you should have the ability where it says attach file to attach that expense sheet that has been filled out. Again, just want to stress this. If there's zeros, that's fine. You still have to go through this process. Okay. You still have to go and attach it just so that we can say that you've completed this and that we have record that no expenses have occurred yet. So if you don't, for some reason, have the half circle, or if the attached file doesn't work, again, reach out. But this particular task is pretty straightforward. Just click on the attached file. Once it is attached, you will see it on the bottom. So it will show in there that it has been uploaded. This is super simple. Just simply mark complete. And this task will then be finished. And so how you can tell that it went through and there is record of it is you will see a check mark. It's that circle, that green circle is fully filled up, and there is a check that it has been completed. And then you'll see that you still have one more task, an open circle of the questions. There are a couple ways to do this. You can go back to application. It will take you back to that first page where you can click on that task if that's the direction you want to go, or you can just simply click on Q1 and Q2 questions, and it should take you into that those questions. So there's a couple of ways to do that. This particular task, pretty straightforward. Shouldn't have any issues. Like I said, if you have issues with uploading, reach out and let us know. Again, when you open the Q1 and Q2 questions, there will be a half circle saying that this task has been open, it has been started. And you will get a number of questions that we are just trying to get information just to see how these programs are going. Some of them are numbers. As you can see, this one has the first couple of questions. There are a few questions that we are asking about the type of medications being used. One of the things that we kind of struggled with in asking these questions was the variety and the different kinds of medications that potentially are being used. And so please be as specific as possible in those answers, because we want to get an idea. We just want to get a better idea of what kind of medications are being utilized with this group of people. And we know that we have provided funds for different kinds of medications. And so if you could, those ones are actually text boxes. We're going to just ask that you write them in and be as detailed as possible with those answers. Again, if these questions you don't have data for, that's okay. You can put 0, you can put NA. We recognize that, again, these programs are just kind of some of them are just getting off the ground. It may not be enough time for you all to have these numbers. It also may not be applicable. We tried to be pretty thorough in what we were asking. If there is a question that just isn't applicable, that's also something we would like to know, and we can adjust. Okay, so I don't want you all to feel any sort of anxiety if there's something that you can't answer, or if you just don't have the information, that's okay. Jamie, did you have a question on this?
So on the question, number of individuals screened for OUD, any certain screening tool that we're required to use, or just if we are screening, that's the number we count?
Yeah, that's the number. Yeah, we aren't quite there yet with this is kind of the stuff that we're still trying to figure out in terms of like if there is a common screening tool, if there needs to be one that we we need to be requiring for this. These programs are just, they're new to us as well. And so we're just trying to make sure that we are asking the right questions. And so if this is something where you're like, this is actually a better worded question, that feedback is super helpful for us as well. So yeah, just however it is, we recognize programs kind of operate differently too around counties and around jails and things like that. So just answer across the board, they are being screened. Here's the number of individuals. So, but yes, any feedback on questions that could be worded a little bit differently or a little bit more specificity, helpful. Or if it's just not applicable, that would be great. So, okay, so you'll just go through these questions, answer them as best to your ability. I didn't include a screenshot of all of the questions, just simply because there's not a whole lot that to show other than the fact that some of them are text boxes, some of them are simply numbers. Again, if it's not applicable, put it in there. Please fill it out though. Put something. Don't leave a question blank. It won't let you go to the next stage or complete this reporting unless there is something filled in. So please do put something in as you're going through this. I did want to highlight this one particular question that we did put at the bottom. This is where we are also looking at for feedback. And so if there's any barriers that you're experienced with implementation processes, anything outcome wise so far within this grant, this is something that we would like to know. Also, if there's something that CJC staff can be helping with, that's also something we would like to know. We do a semi-annual report for our grants, but because we skipped January's reporting, that semi-annual report won't be until July. And so we wanted to kind of get a little bit of information from you all this time, just to see if there are any glaring issues or glaring barriers or challenges or anything that you all are experiencing, and if there's anything that we can be doing to help with that. So please be as thorough as possible on this one. This is something where feedback to us would be incredibly helpful. So when you get to the bottom of this, there's going to be a couple of options. If you are filling stuff out and you need to get a little bit of information, don't quite have it with you, you can save and continue editing. So that will just save your work, so that when you get back in, you don't have to redo it. You can go to where you left off and continue. If you put the information in and you feel like you've answered the questions appropriately and pretty thorough, you can just hit mark complete. And it will save all of the information. If you do hit mark as complete, you won't be able to go back and make changes. If you find that you need to do that, that's okay. Just reach out to me and I can reset I can actually open it up so that you can go back and edit. You just won't be able to do that if you mark it complete. Okay, so reach out to me. It's not a big deal. We can make sure you can get back in there if you do need to change some answers after you complete the task. So then you should get to something like this. Super simple. You'll have 2 check marks. Those are complete. You do have the ability before you hit submit to review it. It will come up as a PDF if you do review what you've submitted, just to make sure everything is good. Again, if during that review process you do find something that you need to change, just reach out. Not a big deal. We can reset it. If you feel like everything is good and complete, the expense tracking sheet is uploaded, all of these things, then you can just simply hit submit. And when you hit submit, you will get this. And essentially they're asking you to hit submit one more time, just to make sure that you are really sure that you want to hit submit. It's not a big deal, but hit it again. And what this does actually is it will kick off an email to you all saying that we received it and then it was submitted and there weren't any issues. So that's kind of why. So within SM Apply, you submit everything and then this will then verify via email that we did get it. And so for some reason, if you don't receive that email, reach out to us and we can figure out what is going on or what any sort of issues are. So that was kind of fast, but this is a pretty simple process. There's not a lot. It's not a very big lift. Like I said, it is a newer grant, and so expense sheets and then a couple of questions that we are just looking for to see where your programs are. And again, any feedback is super helpful on our end to see what we're missing or if anything that we've asked is not applicable to you all. Just a reminder, the reporting for both of these, Q1 and Q2, is due on April 25th. So please don't wait until that day to reach out. Or even, I don't even know, really, let me see, I think the 25th is a Friday. Yes. So maybe do it a little bit sooner than that. So if you do run into issues, we aren't scrambling on that day, but you do have until 5 p.m. on that day to submit. So and then again, this is recorded, and so it will be available on the YouTube channel. Should you need just some direction, the slide deck will also be sent out. Um, um, Either Wednesday or Thursday of this week, which will give you about 2 weeks to complete the reporting after this and reach out for any questions or any issues that you all may have. So I know there's not a lot of you all here and present, but any questions? I know that was a little bit fast. Sometimes SM Apply is not super intuitive, so I did try to, through this slide deck, provide as many arrows as I possibly could to what you need to be looking at and how to navigate through it. So if anything isn't clear, just reach out and we can walk you through it. So any questions for anybody that's here?
I'll just ask a quick one. Our
Yep.
our provider for our MAP program is billing isn't a strong point of his. He's a great provider, but billing,
Uh-huh.
yeah, he doesn't usually get it in a timely fashion. So
Yeah.
I don't anticipate that I will have his March information maybe
Hmm.
by April 25th.
Okay.
So in that scenario, can we submit it with that the next quarter, or we just don't get that?
Nope, you can submit it with the next quarter. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great question, actually. Thank you. So if there is something where even in Q2, essentially what we would like is that you report expenditures as they like are closed, if that makes sense. So it sounds like maybe March won't be closed for you all, so it will miss this window of reporting. Put it in Q3 because they are funds that you've spent. And so we want to make sure that there is just a true accounting across the life of the grant of the funds that were spent. And so um, if sometimes our timeline for reporting doesn't match what your process, that's okay. As long as you report it at some point, even if it is something where you have to wait until the closeout of the grant, that space we have a little bit less room at the closeout, which we can talk about when we get there. But yeah, report it on your timeline as it works for you.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then are you still anticipating that second payment going out probably May-ish timeline?
Yes, yeah. I know it is May. I think it's, don't quote me. I want to say May 5th. I don't actually know if that's right. It may
That's
be
fine.
later in the month. But it is in the grant agreement, I believe, somewhere
Yeah.
in there, that it is scheduled for May. So
Okay.
yeah,
I just,
absolutely.
with budget stuff right now, I needed to make notifications to our finance people
Yeah.
about it.
Yep, and it will be, we split them evenly, and so you can anticipate whatever you received in the first payment was what you'll receive in the
Identical.
second, if you
Okay.
need to know that as well. So
Yep.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. Any other questions? I know this was fast, but it's hopefully a very fast and painless process for y'all. I just wanted to give some direction because I know some of this is a little bit unfamiliar for people that are involved in this grant. So okay, as promised, this is my information. If you do have any questions or issues, I will say my phone number. My phone is always with me. If I'm in a meeting, I won't typically be able to answer it. So email sometimes is a lot faster, especially if you need it that day. But you're welcome to call if that's also easier. I just tend to be in front of my computer and can respond a little faster. So there is my information if you do have any issues or problems with SM Apply, because we recognize it's not the most intuitive process. So, okay. That is all I had today. So if there aren't any other questions or issues or anything, anybody else needs to know, if there's anything outside of reporting that you all are having issues with, feel free to reach out to me about that as well. Yeah. So enjoy the rest of your Monday, and you'll be getting an email from me either Wednesday or Friday, or I'm sorry, Wednesday or Thursday, with all of this information. So thank you all. Have a good Monday.
Thank you.
Thanks.